So, Jake, what's happening, brother?
What's up, my man? Happy Sunday. We made it.
That's a funny looking page you got there on your screen. What is that, Quark Express?
So, when's the last time you used Quark Express?
No, I'm gonna literally say like 99,
So,
nineteen
I'm
ninety
I'm
nine.
I'm trying to remember all my shortcuts, but for people that don't know, Quark Quark Express is an indispensable tool for laying out publications such as magazines and newspapers and ads and anything. Um,
Comic books.
and Yes, and so what I did was, you can see here, I have a slightly ghosted image here that I just imported, and I went in and I lowered the resolution of all these because all you need is a 72 DPI preview for Quark Express. But what I'm going to be doing is laying out the word balloons right on top of. See, I forgot all my keyboard shortcuts, but um, what I have to do is like send this item to the back here, and now all these items are in front. And what I'm going to be doing is zooming in and going over all of these word balloons. And I found this Quark Express document that I laid out 20 years ago, and this is where we left off. And I gave you printouts that look like this, but it was a different font, and it was called Comic Demi. And yeah, you can see the font mapping here. Oh no, yeah, it doesn't show what they used to be because I had to change them. So the best I could do was go online, and I found some True Type fonts that I could download, and I loaded them in, and this was the closest thing I could find, which is okay because we're just going to be tracing it anyway. But for people who don't know, Quark Express is incredible because um, you can raise the size of the text. You could raise. Let me see if I remember all my shortcuts here. You go like this. Oh, that
Yeah,
raises
nice.
the height of it. This raises the size of it. This raises the kerning of it. Expands the kerning of it. You have really, really careful control, and the more you zoom in, the bigger it look. This is as big as I can zoom in right here. So what I'm going to be doing is, we don't really need this first page here. I'll just move this down here on my little document thing. I'll put this nowhere, and then here I'm going to drag a new page, a blank page, and I'm going to lay out this page. So I'm going to create a text box, and I'm going to go press Command E, which brings in page one. It's going to bring it in all black, as you can see, and that might be a little bit distracting. So I'm going to kind of ghost it in green. And if you can see down here on the bottom, I'm putting in these measurements. I'm going to put this box at 0, 0, which is the origin point. And then I'm going to make it 8.5 by 11 or 8 by 11, which is going to be way bigger than we need it because this is a comic page. So now we have this thing as it is, right? So this is oversized. When we print this, we're going to be printing this down, but it doesn't matter. We still get in the right proportions. I changed this from RGB or CMYK to grayscale, so now I can make it any color, and I can work with it here easily since I'm only doing the word balloons. So I have it slightly tinted back with like a dark green. And now I'm going to get the first word balloon right here, which was don't know shit about history. I'm going to bring it
So,
in.
Jake,
Yeah,
Jake,
go
um,
ahead.
I had to say, I can't believe I want the context to be established here. You literally just said this is where we left off. Now I have to put the time frame in where we left off, which was 2001. So what happened is the text on the left that you're showing was printed out, and it was sent to me with the pencils, and I was going to start inking, which meant you were sort of off the hook for a little while, other than doing exactly what it is you're doing. But now you have my inked pages. So we're picking up, I don't know, it might have taken me like 2 or 3 months, if, having gotten the pages and then, FedEx to you or driven up to you, to then do this mock laying out for the lettering, which then we were going to go ahead and hand lettered, which would have been determined. So just for that context, we are officially back where we started and maybe 3 months on. So we're right back into it. So this is really great.
Yeah, so I'm going to take these word balloons now, and I'm remembering some of my shortcuts by heart. I worked with Quark Express for years when I was doing electronic pre-press at a print shop, and so a lot of these are second nature to me. But it's coming back. I'm a little fuzzy. This is where we need to. So we don't, since we're going to be tracing over this by hand. We don't need to make this final, but we want to give our tracer, whether that's you or me,
Right.
the best setup for success here. So it looks like
Yep.
I need to make these letters a little bit smaller so that we have a little more airspace. But it's like almost a perfect fit. What do you think about the airspace here?
It's
Right?
a
I mean,
little compressed. It's a little compressed. This is what I was expressing in my concerns was, getting the space. Now, do you have that on bold?
yes, I do. I think.
Okay.
Let's see.
Okay. Which that's I don't think
No,
it's
that
going to be.
wasn't bold.
Oh wow!
No, this
Wow!
wasn't. This
Wow! Man,
that was not
that's a heavy, thick uh, font
right.
there. And what
Well,
what you're at 11. You're at 8.5 by 11. How big is the point size on the font?
good question. So this page is 8.5 by 11, which is bigger than we're going to
Right.
print. But we can be
Right.
working with the art at that size. That's a good size.
Sure.
So
Sure. Sure.
the font is 12.3, and
All
I think
right.
I had a note. I had a note over here that it should all be 11.3.
I think you're
Um,
right.
yeah, but I'm gonna have to. Yeah. Well, hold on. Let me see if I can find that little thing. See, what happened was when I substitute the font, I found this font and it's called SF Wonder Comic Book.
Wow.
And so you can see like these little squares here. That means that the text got knocked over to the next line. So in order to see it, what I have to do is actually get rid of this text inset so that instead of 4-point inset, there's a 0 inset. Now we can see it. See? So whenever you see these little warning boxes, so here this says all should be 11.2. So I'm going to trust myself, my former self, and I'm going to make this 11.2 now. Okay, and let's see if that fits. So now that, yeah, so 11.2 doesn't mean anything. Like the font could be taller, shorter. It's just kind of like that's just kind of like the space. So I guess I got to make this a little smaller, and just to get some, because I mean it would be great if we could make that box a little bigger. We got plenty of room in that box, but it's too late for that now, right? So now I'm just going to
No,
open up
no,
this.
no, no. I can definitely, or you. I mean, we also have some decent Photoshop skills. The pages, not the physical inked pages, are not being inked for this reason, because then you can get in and take that block, that empty block, cut and paste it over the top of it, a version of it, and then expand it so it kind of really snugs in, which you are pretty much at right now. It might be just a little too snug. Like I'd like to see a little space below
Right,
Dona. Dona.
but we need to have our 11.2 for readability, right? Because we're not
Oh
going to be
yeah,
able
no,
to.
I don't want the font. I don't want the font. It just means the box is going to have to be bigger. by a little bit.
Right. So that's something that we'll have to change on the artwork. But as far as going
In
forward in the
Photoshop.
lettering,
In
yeah.
Photoshop.
But yeah, so this is going to be it right here. This is 11.2. I'm looking, real close here. I mean, this is really only just a guide for our letterer to hand letter this, but
Yeah,
we're
that's
but we're I think we're there.
I do
Like
too.
sometimes I go like this. I just do like these little things like this, just
Yep.
to give us some air. But this is going to be, very, I guess, natural, depending on the person that's doing this. I mean, I might even open this whole thing up a little because we have the
I was going to
space.
suggest the same thing. Because I
Mm-hmm.
think I correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe the original font. These boxes were laid out on your pencils, so you had some sense of what wording was going to fit in the box pre.
Right. So the
You just
good
don't have the
thing,
font.
I don't have the font. I can't find Comic Demi anywhere for the life of me. But so the good news is once we have this, I can actually have all of these in position on the whole page, and then I can delete this background file, export it as an EPS, rasterize that high res into a TIFF or JPEG, and then you can layer the whole thing right over your artwork, and it should all fit. Instead of fitting every word balloon and everything, it should all just be, it should all just fit automatically.
Cool.
So let's just rip through it. Now we're looking for
Hell
geographical
yeah.
thinning here, but I know there was something called geographical thinning. So I'm going to move this over here, right? And we can see it's not a perfect fit. I got to make this a no background and a no border. And did I just make that border 0? Command B. Oh, it's 1. Okay, make that 0. Now, let's see if we can get this in here. So I think what I was doing back when I was typing the I twice because it was just giving, this was like a skinny I.
Yeah.
And I was worried that we didn't have enough space. I wasn't thinking about actually using that type, rather the person that was tracing it, So yeah, this text is 11.2. So let me see if I bring this back up. So this doesn't fit. This doesn't really fit. So we're going to have to go smaller. But I know there was something they call geographical thinning. So what I can do is I can skinny this up and make it smaller. And what do you think about, so this is our first hearing of Turbo's voice, right? What about something
Yeah.
versus something versus something? I was really exaggerating it with the something,
Right.
right?
Yeah, I mean
So
she has an ignorance about her, right?
well,
I
yeah,
mean
she talks like a truck driver.
yeah. I mean
Let me
not to demean the lifeline of our society when it comes to delivering to retail establishment.
wow.
But
So
the whole the when I say it's not it's there's a lesser education with her. I mean, she didn't go down and sit in class and read books, or go through it. She's just basically picking up stuff as she goes along. So
right. So do we do something or something with a with a
fin
no with
fin
a no something with an
with
N
a
apostrophe?
th.
Yeah. Something, like, is she really something or is she something? Some
su no sumthin.
something. What do we do? This is the first time we're hearing her voice. I think this needs to be 3 lines. Something they call geographical thinning. All right. Uh-oh. Why did I end up back there? Oh, God, because these are all, oh, God forbid, don't tell me. These are all linked in one giant text box. I have to cut that right now. Yeah, so I can take, but I know there was something called geographical thinning. Now I'm at 8 points here. That's how small I had to get. So let's go to 9. All right, and it fits. And let's go to 10. Okay, and it still fits.
Not bad. Not bad at all.
Now I'm moving things up like that. I'm gonna spread them apart. See, I'm doing all this stuff here. Can I go up to 11? If I go up to 11, we have a little bit of a problem. So now let's go to 10 and a half. And we're here in the Dewey Decimal System. And tighten things up. So it fits the space. I think I need the 3 dots before the but, right?
Yep.
Okay. And now I think we're there. Right? This is good enough for the tracer.
But this is 12. I mean, excuse me, this is 10 and a half.
Yeah, we're at 10 and a half.
All right. Well then, but see, this is where we have to come to an agreement. Like, I would
we can make the
like
box bigger again.
That we're gonna have to. That's all I've been coaxing us along on. And because I mean we're talking like a half and a little more to get us to 11.3, then we might as well just have the output.
Well, another thing I could make this 11.2 right now. Watch, I'm making this 11.2. And then I could horizontally scale. See, the question is, do we want to make the box different, bigger in the art? Because we could, but that's more work. That means we have to do the tracing, then change the box. And, and I'm just worried, like, it's going to be like every page would be doing this. So,
that's fine.
Yeah. All right. So then I'm going to leave this like this. And so we'll just make the box just a little bigger on the right. And that's all we have to do.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm fine tuning this. Let me see. Was something they call, so, maybe I'll tighten this up here, right? This kind of thing, right? I don't like long dashes. I'm going to horizontally scale the dash and then put some spacing here like that. These are really little details. We have this single quote instead of a double quote. Shouldn't this be a double quote? Like this?
For
geographical thinning.
Are you quoting it? Do we want to try our hand at italicizing?
Yeah, I have an italic here. Oops, that wasn't it. There's the italic.
Yeah, I just actually was playing around with that.
Here, SF. What's this? Oh, look at that. They have inline. That's great for sound effects. They have something called comic blotch. I don't know why this is what comic blotch is versus regular, but this is blotch and this is regular. And then this is italic right here. So I could get, now I'm much more italic than I was. And I could also bring this in a little bit. When we do our eyes, eyes, we don't need the, the girder eye. We just need if an eye is in a word, I think we agreed we were going to make it just a slash. And if an eye was the word eye by itself, like right here, we were going to give it some space and make it the I beam, right?
Yes.
Okay, so this quote is pretty far away, doesn't have to be, and this quote is really far away because these are italics. So that's the problem with these fonts. They never get these types of things right. quote and then italics and then the kerning, right? The kerning pairs. All right, so now we can move on to the next one. I'm going to hit save because a lot of people are used to auto saving, and that was not a thing back then.
Oh boy, now I'm having flashbacks,
Flashback.
and oh my god, totally like getting in the zone for like 45 minutes, and all of a sudden your fan
Hours.
kicks out,
Hours.
and then you crash. Oh my god. A walk around the
Hours.
block, a couple of cigarettes, a beer, whoo, shot of Jack Daniels, and you're back in the saddle. That's how I did it.
Yeah, so I'm going to try to do a multiple move here, and I'm going to try to grab all of these word balloons all at once, and then hit the frame and make it all 0 all at once. Then I'm going to get all the text inset here and make it all 0 all at once. Let's see if that works. Yeah, okay. Now, another question is, once we trace this and we have our word balloon art, and then we import it, do we want to print it full strength? Do we want to print it black? Do we want to print it gray? All that kind of stuff. So now we're going, this is back before Zirgon. Oh, wait, another thing I was supposed to do, I'm going to select them all at once. And I want to make the background none, because right now it's background mixed. Okay, so now all the background are none. I hit save. It was back before Zirgon gas when they did it by hand. So let's zoom in here. So if people are looking at this and you don't have Quark Express, sorry, but Quark Express.
Well, you know what? I was just thinking. Oh, I was just thinking is that there are definitely like 25 comic book making or laying out apps. And so I could hear screaming from the future in at our video. What are you guys fucking doing? Why don't you get fill in the blank app? You can make it a lot easier on yourselves. But the thing is I have to repeat that Jake and I are going back to 2001, picking up where we left off, and we're going to get Turbo not only issue number 1 complete, but we're already working on issue number 2. You're about 14 pages penciled in. We're putting together, let me just flash this up on the screen. Bam! We're putting together a nice, sweet 6 pages of the first 6 pages of the story. It's a teaser. I just finished the back matter, which is just kind of giving a little, this is our layouts. This is the original. So we are reliving, because we're old guys, and as much as we're trying to help inspire people, we're just getting back into who we are as creatives, and would like to document it historically as well as share with others. So if you do have an excellent comic book pages layout app you would like to suggest to us, go ahead and leave it in the comments. Back to you, Jake.
Yeah, so here's a really good example we have to talk about, because I think this might be better as a knockout right here, and then actually move it down here. I don't know if that's a lot of work, but we have this balloon here right next to this sound effect, and we could kick this over so the sound effect isn't interfered with so much immediately.
Yeah, you mean kicking it to the right?
Yeah, like I seeing this now, I'm thinking like, because I did have to like squeeze this in just now to make it fit the existing box. If we don't care about the existing box and we can just change it, I can put this thing back. So this is 11.2, but the spacing is, the letter spacing and the line spacing is all pretty tight. But look at all this room we actually have. So suppose we ignore that word balloon, that box, dialog box, like, and whoops, and we just fit it to this corner, right? We're thinking more about this corner, and suppose this corner just faded into, you know, solid black, and we just knocked out the type in white. What do you think?
Ooh, I like that. I like that a lot.
Okay.
So go ahead and change the background and the type, right? Is that what you're going to do? Just so we can see it?
Yeah, I could,
Just
sure,
to give us
but
a
it's not.
little teasy.
So I'll make this white with a background of this color, and it'll look more like something like this. Um,
Ooh, now pull back. Pull back. Let's see it in the total composition of the page.
right, I'm trying to move it here.
Please.
Yeah, and we don't. And so the thing is, like, you know, you have a texture. You know, you have the door. You have the wood of the door there. So you know, this would have to be integrated in using, you know, illustration techniques, right? Because this is, you know, this is the artwork here. I mean,
Yeah.
if we look, you know, if we want to see, you know, real close here, this is, it looks like this. So we have to go back here and do all this work now. You know, you
Well,
kind of have
that's
this, like,
just
kind of have this real solid
syncing.
frame around a white box, but we just need to, like, clone, you know, this texture here. And then here, it would just kind of be all go to solid black like this, so that we just have the knockout text, right? You know,
Yeah.
even if it's even if it's amorphous patch, as long as it surrounds all the letters.
Yeah. Yep. I
Okay, we
agree.
agree. All right, so I'm I'm going to undo. Oops. Oh shoot! What just happened? Okay, so I'm going to just leave this as black text. Whoops. Whatever. That's fine. Next, we're going here. Who is the owner of this house? Which I don't see all of a sudden. Men begin, he made bridges bars. Where is that? Who is the owner of this house? So the good news is I can do a find file, and I just hit Command F. That brought up this little dialog here. And who is? I'll look in the whole layout, and I found no. Oh, yeah. There's nothing here. So that means I lost it somehow. Yeah.
Did you handwrite it in on your piece of
Yeah,
paper,
maybe,
right?
yeah. Let's go to the other material. I'm pretty sure I just remember it as who's the owner of this house. Here. Yeah, this was, I guess this was on another version or something.
You might. Why? Where do you see
But
it? Oh
yeah,
yeah.
I see.
Those were that was a printout I had I had received. I had the physical copies of it, and then I scanned it and sent to you.
Do you know how many old CD archives I went through looking for this Comic Demi? So here's the Comic Demi font, and I honestly like this better. This was my favorite comic font that I found. It was nice and bold, because then even if it's a small size at 11.2, it's still very readable. You know, and so if I was ever going to use a printed font, this would be it. You know, although I would probably really hand kern it like to bits. Right. So yeah, I'm just seeing here who is the owner of this house. So let's just type that in, because that is from 20 years ago. I'll just hit duplicate, and I'll grab the text. He was kind of screaming. So maybe we'll go a little bolder. I'll bring this over here, and this is going to go right in here, right? And let's get the bolder style now. Let's see what it looks like. All right, this text is 11.26.
That fits right there. That fits right
It
there.
it kind of does, yeah. Well,
Ooh,
first
yeah.
I'm gonna do the line spacing, and you know, yeah. Now it looks like we have a tiny bit more room. So you know, you see, I have an F and a T, so there's a lot of empty space at the bottom of the F and the bottom of the T. So you visually adjust for that by bringing it in a little, like this, right? Are we horizontally spaced at all? Let's see. Horizontal spacing, horizontal vertical scale. It says we're at 80%. So we are very much so. We are basically condensing this font here. So the most we can do is, horizontally scale it back like 1 or 2%. So maybe we just go to 81, 82. I could make this a diagonal. Is that too radical an idea? Watch this.
Yeah, let me see. Nah, I don't like that.
Before, after? No?
Nah, nah.
All right.
I always do that when the panel or the subject in the panel is also skewed. So if it's skewed into the, let's say, into the left of the panel, then I could skew to the left of the panel, like kind of falling in. I mean, that's just my own personal preference, but
Yeah, I mean this zigzaggy box is kind of like an irregular shape, right?
yeah.
So maybe this text, maybe what we want to do to give that kind of a feel is we want to do like this kind of stuff: baseline kern up, baseline kern down, baseline kern. Baseline shift. This gives it like a very like disorderly sense here. What do you think?
Yeah, I dig it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So how about if we just give it a 1 degree curl up? That buys you some space. And now
You
I
can
can
even bump up the whole text like 2 times. Tap up twice.
Yeah, or watch this. I could just make it bold like that. And so
Say
then
still gonna fit in there. Ooh. Whoa, whoa. There you go. There you go. Leave it alone.
hold on.
It's a wrap.
You like that as it is?
Yeah.
Right. I'm just trying to remember as we're doing this, because these eyes are going to be, and the I in the middle of the word is going to be different. Who is the owner of this house? Okay, so let's move on. And next we're going to go to, now we never had this. I am the owner of the house, right? The house belongs to me.
Right.
We had to handwrite that in after these many years.
Yep.
So let's go down here. Did we have a box that says my father? Oh yeah, we do. It's right.
Yeah.
Look,
Engineer.
it's here, but
Builds bridges.
it's here, but it's not here.
Wait a minute.
It's not in the document for some reason.
Yeah, I think that's another doc. I think you have a second document, which was
It
the.
must.
Let's say it's the first one. You sent it to me, and then, like I said, as I was supposed to be inking, you were then working on with your pencils. Let's say the more concise final version of the text. So you probably just open up a new file, started typing in shit, and boom.
Yeah, well, I have a backup that must have been earlier than what we talked about and what I gave my father. My father dot, right? Yeah, my father. Stop it. My father dot. Yeah, so that must have been what happened. I had something on my current laptop at the time, and then what made it onto my backup CDs was an earlier version, and I never got that backed up. I might have crashed or something.
Yeah.
So this is a duplicate. So the house belongs to me. Hopefully this all fits. Yeah, we'll get this in here. Good. I think we're doing good. So it's a process, and this is something that, you know, professionals do in the big companies, and, you know, I guess they just basically type out fonts nowadays, but
You can make your own font.
I know I would love to make my own font. I mean, they need a font called Tom Orszewski. That's what they need.
I'm sure
Right?
there's someone out there that's made it. They're just hogging it. You gotta
Ors.
pay for it.
Right. Well, how much do they cost?
I don't know. I've seen it for like $25.
Yeah, that's well worth it. To get a Tom Orszewski font.
Well, I don't know if that's exactly what you're gonna get.
Yeah, I know they have those fonts. They have those the lettering companies, right? Sometimes you see like instead of a person's name, it's like Dynamic Lettering Inc.
How many people nowadays want to be a comic book letterer?
Well, that's the thing, you know. If you want to break into the business, you might have to break in that way. And it, you know, if you're good at it and you can't draw, what the hell, you know? I think this is better like this. So we're gonna have to tighten this up a little on the line space. So the line spacing doesn't really need to be uniform. I don't think anyone's gonna notice line spacing. And yeah, and again, this is not my ideal font, honestly. Even just to use as a tracer. We're not bold. Okay, so I think we're done with this one. My father, the house, but why does this move so much? This is making me nuts. Why is this moving? Sometimes fonts are tricky, like with operating systems. They like a font can bring a whole system to a crash if there's some bad code in a font, right? All right, and now there was another one here, so it's going to be like he made bridges, parks, and schools. He built bridges. He made. What did we say here?
Built
He was
bridges.
he was an engineer, a builder. So this is the next. This goes here where he's about to get shot, and then the engineer part goes here. He was an engineer, a builder. Goes here. Uh-huh. So this might be a tight squeeze. We are definitely 11.2. And it's definitely not fitting. Yeah, I don't know how my boxes are good some places, but not other. If I was just using, you know, a font to figure this out, maybe I didn't have that. I mean, I'm pretty close, so we can go. Look, this I'm just gonna go straight down because you see we have plenty of room down here to just extend that line, and then I'm going to use I'll kick this down here, and then I'm going to use my horizontal scaling and just bring it to the max, right? which is right about there. Now, this one is done. All we have to do is just lower this box a little bit, right? Right?
Yeah.
So you see how much fix up we need to do as we go.
Yeah. We'll
Then we
see
come
that.
up
Like I
here.
said, if for the lettering that I would do, I would take as is where they're in place, knock out the art, just have the floating letters, knock the opacity down to like 20%, print it out to size. I'm working 13 by 19, then do my own, do my lettering, scan that in, put it as a layer over top, and then make my notations and adjustments suitably in a small fashion in Photoshop. But if I have to, as we talked about the knocking down the door scene, go ahead back to the original and fuddle around with that.
Yeah, well, that's if it's knockout type. So the question is, are you still drawing on original art, or are you committed to Photoshop yet?
I'm still drawing on original art. I haven't done
Right.
anything on.
So it's possible with a light box to just put this right underneath it, print it out to the exact right size, put it underneath the art, and just ink it right onto the art, right?
Well, no, because we have knockout. You got an inverted, white text on black box. There's a lot there. I want to leave the art as is, other than the minor adjustments, so the art has its own sense of existence on its own when it's hanging in a gallery. In my 70s.
Wouldn't it be better with word balloons in the gallery?
I don't know. We'll have to talk to somebody about that.
Well, I mean, you're right that if you put the you could put most of the lettering and just ink it right on the art, but the knockout type would have to be on a separate paper or something. Yes.
Yeah. So why double down on something where, going in motion? Now this is another thing too. You and I don't know if we ever had. I mean, we have agreements in process, but until now, I'm getting very privy to your internal dialogue in making a comic book page right down to lettering, and you're also hearing back from me. So I think we owe each other the ability to do what we got to do, see what the output is, and then in a very artsy way critique, and then improve upon that as we move along.
Yeah, I mean we're the most transparent duo ever because we're podcasting this.
I think we're still the only two people podcasting how to make a comic together. Not you working on your comic, I'm working on my comic. We sit down and talk about it. We're both working on a comic.
I know. Can you believe we haven't had an argument yet?
Well,
or have we? We've had disagreements.
Well, I don't know if it's been on. I don't think we've recorded any yet, but there's been a couple times.
But people just know.
You have said some asinine shit, man.
And people just need to know, like, if you're putting your eggs in somebody's basket with somebody, there's. I mean, it could just be somebody had a bad day, and oh, God damn it, oh, I got to do my podcast now, and then so I gave this a definite tint. Tilt. I'm at 7% actually, and I think this looks nice, right?
I agree. Yeah.
Okay. So we are feeling free to do that. So this is a silent panel, and we're almost done here. Now we just need to say...
Yeah, because we're almost at 45 minutes. We're almost at 45 minutes. And it took us 45 minutes to letter one page. And it's not even officially lettered.
Yeah, well, getting set up was the hard part.
Yeah, I know. I'm excited. This is all excitement you're hearing from me, not critique.
So I think this is where we say the taste of blood. But this box looks like it's a little too big for that. Or maybe I'm wrong. you have anything on your notes? The taste, I think it goes right there, right? The taste of blood.
That's what I remember. Yeah.
All right. Seems like it makes sense. So let's stick it in here, and yeah, we're at 11.2. We'll close up the lining, and so now we have kind of like a moment of truth. See, before we get to the moment of truth, this is horizontally scaled. We're at 80% now. So we are condensing the shit out of this font. So whenever I can, I just undo that because we have the room here. And I don't think people would notice anything. Besides, this is all just going to be traced anyway. It's going to go through somebody else's hand anyway. So,
and even when we bring it into Photoshop as originally hand lettering, you can still fudge around a bit. You can copy and paste, or pull, So I would rather be on that side of the fence than trying to figure it all out on this side of the fence, then refigure it out on the other side. You know what I mean? Just go ahead and make something.
Right. Well, just for typography nerds, what I'm doing is like you can buy some space in the word spacing that you can then use to go out and get some more horizontal scaling now. Oops. And when I do that, right, it makes our letters just a little bit wider, and it's also like bringing them together in kerning pairs, right? Individual kerning pairs, so because everything is individualized. So now I'm horizontally scaled at 88%. I just bought me 8% of my horizontal scale. So I mentioned a moment of truth. I'm gonna hit save right now, and then I'm gonna take this page. This is page 2. Now we have to cross our fingers here, because when I save page as EPS, this is going to tell us whether or not there's any kind of conversion problem between this TrueType font that I downloaded off the web, and the QuickTime rastering process. What I'm going to do is I'm going to go to modify right here, and this little box says suppress picture output. So it's not going to print this picture at all. It's just going to give us a blank sheet of our lettering in perfect position. So now we go, the shortcut is save pages EPS right here, and I'm going to call this page 2 teaser EPS, and the format is going to be, it could be color or black and white. This doesn't need to be color, so let's do black and white. The preview is it could be a pict or a black and white TIFF. The preview doesn't really matter, I don't think. And it says you want to make it a transparent page. Sounds good to me, right? Because this will just lay right on top of Photoshop. And then I'm going, so, and now where do I want to save this? I'll put this in a folder called Dialog, Turbo Dialog, EPSs, or these are going to be converted right from EPS. So this is just the Turbo Dialog pages. Okay, so I created a folder, page 2 teaser, EPS. So now it's creating an EPS. Do you remember what EPS stands for? Pop quiz.
Oh boy. God damn it. Electric protocol
electric letters.
Script. Protocol
EPS,
script.
EPS stands for encapsulated postscript file.
It's been too long. 20-something years.
So now let's go. I'm going to my art folder, and now I'm going to take that EPS. Now this is an EPS that was exported out of Quark format, and now I'm going to open this in preview, which is just, and it's converting the postscript file to a PDF. And look at that. Oh, guess what? We got the wrong page.
What? I was ready to say that's a lot of text. That's a lot of text.
That was the other page. So the reason why we got that is because when you're doing this, you have to you see I have a little bit of the other page showing here, so it's giving me that
Right.
page. So I have to zoom in so that this is the only page visible in the origin point. Then I'm going to hit that same thing, and we'll call this page 2 teaser EPS, transparent, black and white, preview pick, yes, scales 100%. So now save and replace, and that should be a world of difference. It didn't give us a progress bar. So now we can see if we can rasterize that. And when we do it, here's what we get. Look.
Oh, yes. Woohoo.
No. We got a problem.
What?
Look carefully. So where we went to the italic, it didn't convert.
Oh, shit.
And when we went to the bold, it didn't convert. And everything else converted. Oh no, yeah. So this was the bold. So the bold and the italic didn't convert. So we got to do it again, and we have to replace those fonts.
Well, we're already over the 45-minute mark. I think this was a major accomplishment for Turbo Pit Fighters teaser #1, and
I can't believe it.
Thoroughly, in shock that we made it this far. Don't put any of this on yourself. Technology is still one of those things that seems to always be against you, not working with you. But when you said you had to get to these Quark files and whether Quark would boot back up and blah, 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 I kept thinking, oh my God, how are we going to get this thing? Because we want it to be, as pages go, one all hand done. So we're not trying to do any kind of digital fonting or digital effects or anything. So this is a major final step, if you will, that we achieved today. So this is a milestone.
Yes, we knocked out one page, and we got our workflow. And what do you think? I mean, we're going over the dialogue bit by bit, and how to do all the syntax. Yeah, because this is integral to the story. So it's not like somebody should do this on their own. I don't think.
I agree. This is moving. This is moving the way it's moving every Sunday as you and I get together. And we've been doing this for over a year now. This is episode 61, and we're not quitting. We're not quitting. This is Jake and I's retirement program, which is going to hit around about 6-7 years from now. So we'll have issue 1 done by then, hopefully. And there'll be a lot going on for us at that point. We're also re-engaging the industry, and we're taking our time. So this is totally awesome. So, but that's what
take
all
your
I got.
Time, do it right. You can do. Yeah, we're doing it. So it looks like when I switch this back to the main font, and then just with the system bold on it, if you remember those terms, it looks like it converts better. So
Right.
if I'm just doing that. I did that. I just determined that for the italic, and now I'm going to determine for the bold too if it's the same thing. So it works when the system bold is there, but if you go to the font bold, the font of the font family, that's no good. And so, look, it converts just fine now, if you can see here. And folks, the moral of the story is don't throw out your old laptop. I think that's all I got to say. All right, Kurt.
Jake,
see you next week.
See you next Sunday.
All right, guys.